Gang, there's too much news to cover. I've got 8 million tabs open and things to share, and it just keeps coming. There's no way I gotta keep these shows short. I'm sorry. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is actually about, you know, Charlie Kirk and Turning Point has done a lot, but they've actually given even guys like John Thune a backbone. It is starting to change uh, policy. Republicans are cutting their gloves off. Not all of them, obviously. They're still at the country club, but they're starting to cut their gloves off and go, man, let's get to work. It's time to stop messing around. And they're inspired by the events. Here's Trump when he went to talk on Fox News really quick, saying he's ready to pull the nuclear option.
Not confirming your appointments either. They're holding them down.
But I'm going to get it done because we're not going to be doing something that they want. They want something very badly, and I won't tell you what it is yet. You'll figure it out pretty soon, but we're not going to be doing that. So I'm fine. We got 200 people that left their jobs in order to come into the administration, and the Democrats are blocking and there's some of them are great. If I had George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, they came back from the dead, and they wanted to go into the administration, Schumer would not approve that.
They're doing a nuclear option, right? They're going to put about over 100 through.
We have some things that are very powerful that in many ways you'd like not to do it, but I'm okay. I'm okay. These are obstructionists. These are agitators and obstructionists, the Democrats. Now, I hope it gets back. You know, in the old days, a long time ago, it sort of started with Obama. You want to know the truth. There was a level of unbelievable hatred. And Bush, I was not a big fan of Bush, as you probably know, and you are, so I'm not going to get into an argument.
Really
we don't have to, but I'm a much better golfer than he is.
I'm a better golfer than Bush. They're going to do what's called the nuclear option. It's these weird Senate House rules, weird rules they have back in the back, ancient documents of protocols that they can do that are not fashionable or good. But when they're up against the wall, and when Republicans are just done dealing with the Democrats because they're tired of their BS, they're inspired to finally change something. Here's Senator James Lankford. Again, he's a rhino, but look, they're ready to fight, guys. They're getting inspired.
Mr. President, Senate's stuck. We've had an enormous number of nominations that have tried to be able to work through this body. Quite frankly, it's the same number that we have in every time it's the first term for a new president to be able to work its way through the body. But this time's different. And it's not just accidentally different, it's been intentionally different. I understand my Democratic colleagues have problems politically with President Trump. I get that, respectful, we have differences of opinion on that. But this time's been different. Every single nominee has been blocked. Every single nominee has required a vote for motion to proceed, 2 hours of debate, another vote. Current status where we are right now, to just do the nominees in our backlog where we currently sit right now, will take about 900 hours of floor time to be able to just do those. That doesn't include the ones that are coming next for the next nominations. We're stuck. If every single one of them requires this kind of time, the Senate's no longer functioning.
Yeah, you don't have a Senate. You don't have a representative body. Because of Democrats, they're finally getting ready to take the gloves off. Senate Republicans invoke the nuclear option to change the chamber's rules to allow all executive branch nominees, with the exception of cabinet posts and judges, to be approved in groups and with less debate. Democrats had drawn out the process of voting on President Trump's nominees because they argue the nominees are unqualified. Every single one of his nominees are allegedly unqualified, according to the Democrats. Look, here's Stephen Miller. This is this is Monroe Falls, Ohio Council Vice President. The world is better placed now that he's gone, talking about Charlie Kirk getting shot. These are your representatives, John Implazieri. So to all you right-wingers out there, I have two things to say to you. Second Amendment, and thoughts and prayers. The world is a better place now that he's gone. Now that's disgusting, of course. Here's Stephen Miller. We haven't even begun to grapple with the fact that a huge portion of our society has been fully and dangerously radicalized by a closed circuit of radical left propaganda. I went and looked at my Facebook friends, guys, and all the leftists, mostly involved in the arts, are coming out justifying violence against Charlie Kirk, or just saying no compassion. You have this coming. This is a weird, this culture war in America started over 25 years ago. Okay. It's coming to a head, guys. This gal lost her job, fired for her online posts about Charlie. Here's her tears.
So I've lost my job. I got called into the office yesterday. And I kind of felt like something was off, but they called me in the office yesterday, and after I finished like half through the work, and told me that they could either fire me or I could put a resignation in, but that would look better. But they fired me, or they're getting rid of me because of my TikTok and the book post. Somebody screenshotted.
She's blaming the person that caught her. Now, I feel for her tears. She thinks in her worldview that she has done nothing wrong. She does not apologize to Charlie Kirk. And by the way, these tears that she sheds is nothing compared to what those of us who cried over Charlie Kirk's death or Charlie Kirk's family for a lifetime are going to shed every day. So this lady jumped on his grave, lost her job. I'm not looking for revenge or retribution. I'm just saying I have a hard time with compassion for this person. She did this to herself. If you say something monstrous, you know what? I have the free speech right to say the N-word. If I go around the office at a professional place of work, or if I post that online, the N-word, all over the place, guess what happens to me? You get fired. You're bad marketing. You're bad product. This isn't that hard to figure out. Anyways, the number of firings that I'm reading about, there's just thousands of them. Because to me, the bigger picture is this is a normal Southern woman. And look how far the hatred of Charlie, the left, and Trump, to a point that this Southern woman thinks he's evil and deserved it. Guys, it's everywhere. It's in your churches. It's at the Department of Motor Vehicles. I'll show you. It's absolutely everywhere, guys. Firing this person has changed nothing. Catching the shooter, which they caught the shooter, and even executing him changes nothing. That culture is out there, and that means hearts and minds, guys. We got to change hearts and minds with a positive message going forward. Fat chance, good luck, everyone, but that's the only right thing to do, because I'm not going to arms. You call for civil war, you're wrong. You give up. Bad technique. You give up. Here's Ryan Fournier, breaking. Leisha Schmidt, sustainability and climate senior advisor. This is a climate greenie person at NASDAQ, has just been fired from her job over her celebration of Charlie's death. Yes, they're everywhere, even at the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones. They're at your legal practice. They're at your accountant. They're at the IRS. Thank you, everyone, for the help. Good riddance, Darren. I am the Chief Legal Risk and Regulatory Officer for NASDAQ. Our CEO, Adina Friedman, immediately forwarded your email to me earlier this morning. Thank you for bringing this matter to our attention. I want to be clear that the content you shared runs counter to NASDAQ's values and what we stand for as a company. NASDAQ has a zero tolerance policy toward violence, and any commentary that condones or celebrates it. The employee in question has been terminated effective immediately. Thank you for sharing your concerns. Goodbye. I want to counter that with, This one's tough, guys. You know, I've been doing a lot of comparing the left versus the right. This is Ben Carson on this guy's show who found out about Charlie's shooting on the air. Watch his face. This is Ben Carson.
That he's passed away. Ben, I don't get it. I use words for a living. I'm confused as to what to say about this. Okay, is there anything to say at this time? I'm so sorry, brother. You want to stop?
No, it's, you know, he was such an incredible force for good in helping people to be able to look at the big picture and not to be distracted. You know, there's a million different distractions that keep you from thinking about what's really important and what we can do as a nation. You know, as a Judeo-Christian foundation, it teaches you to love your neighbor. Not
love your neighbor. Charlie Kirk got shot and died, and Ben Carson is telling you, love your neighbor. We're different, guys. We're different. We're different. They are dancing on Charlie's grave, Ben Carson, crying, love your neighbor. That broke me up. I love, you guys know I'm a huge fan. I love Ben Carson. These are great men. These are the good that we fight for. It's worth it. You guys, you are worth working for, talking to. I spend 8 hours a day, 6 days a week on this show doing unscripted content. You're worth it. It's fun. I love getting to do this. We're full of love. Love. Not emotions and goo. It's not goo. This isn't a Hallmark card we're doing here. Love conquers evil and death. And love can be violent. Here's breaking 911. Senator Marsha Blackburn this is right here in Tennessee, sent an urgent letter to the Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, tonight, calling for the immediate termination of the Secret Service agent who gleefully posted on Facebook that Charlie Kirk deserved to be mourned because of karma. Marsha Blackburn sent it out. Your Secret Service is full of these people. This is just one of the vocal ones that got caught. The ones that aren't vocal, that have the good taste to not post what they think, they're still there thinking it. We just can't catch them because they're not so dumb to go shouting they're evil. You know, I think part of the problem with the right and with Christianity is we've lost our imagination for how evil the left is. The left is evil. I really loved this writing. I don't know why I'm quoting it, but I just thought it was really good and a really cool thought. I'd like to comment on a little recognized effect, I believe, Charlie Kirk's assassination is having on certain corners of the right. About 10 years ago, I escaped from living in San Francisco Bay Area, the outright visceral, violent hatred that so many Bay Area residents had towards any political dissent shocked me when I moved there and was one of the main reasons I left. You know, if you go to San Francisco, there's a lot of people with flowers in their hair who are full of hate. Not obviously not all of them, guys, but you have no idea. This is Hollywood too. When I moved to a deep red state. I made conservative friends there. These are nice, decent people who live by a mantra of you leave me be, I'll leave you be. But what shocked me about them, we in the South, I'm from LA, by the way. I know what he's talking about. Their unwillingness to believe just how deeply Democrats hate them. They're all, my in-law, he's a Democrat. They hate you. I tried explaining to them that most Democrats want them and their way of life dead and destroyed, that Democrats offer no political quarter and will not tolerate dissent of any kind from their neo-Marxist orthodoxies, and that comedy is dead. Comity is dead on the Democrat side, and all they want is power over everything we conservatives hold dear, and that they would do literally anything to achieve and maintain that power. These are facts, guys, and reality lines up with everything he said. That's why the last 10 years have happened, because of everything written in that paragraph. Rewind it and play it again, and you'll see. They didn't believe me. The South, the good people, they said I was exaggerating. They said what I was saying was not possible. They thought this because they had lived their whole lives in their red state. And in their red state, Democrats were far more conservative than the vast majority of Democrats nationally. And in this state, Democrats were such a small minority that they were forced to show the comedy and manners that the rest of the party long ago abandoned. My red state friends just assumed this was the same everywhere, and no longer. Charlie Kirk's death has galvanized them and made them believers. Literally millions of peaceful, law-abiding conservatives who just want to be left alone have been woken up and suddenly realize that most Democrats would be glad to see them dead. Who? Here's one. Nashville Fire Department. Here's the South. I'm here. I came from LA, guys. I'm here in Nashville. It's the South, the volunteer state. Nashville Fire Department employee placed on leave after alleged post about Charlie Kirk's death. Look, this is what the fire person posted. Haley, what's her name? This is a cartoon image of Charlie, a cartoon of Charlie Kirk. It says, debate this with blood squirting out of his neck. Cartoon. Thank you, female Metro Nashville Department of Emergency, working for the fire department in the South. Get vocal, my people. Wait, there's more. The mother of Tyler Robinson, that's the shooter. Charlie Kirk shooter. Posted on Facebook in 2020 that Tyler, the shooter, had a 4.0 GPA and got near perfect scores on his ACT. The shooter was seemingly some kind of a genius. Guys, my dad dreamed of sending me to college. Said, if I can just get you in college, Doug, that's all I want to do. Dad, it was false. Education, it doesn't matter how smart you are. It's even if you know a little bit, but it's true. You're more power than someone who knows a lot or even everything, but have no wisdom, no values. Look at her bragging. And again, I don't want to impugn this mom's character. This mom is one of the most miserable moms in the world right now, being sad about her son. Okay, so bless her. Save her, Lord. She said, this boy is a genius, and I'm hoping he'll pick a Utah college and stay close to his mama. He killed the ACT and has a 4.0, so his options are endless. We overvalue education. We teach our daughters, go get a college degree and get a job, not go get married and have kids and be happy. We teach our sons, son, just keep your grades up. I told my kids I'd rather they be good than get an A. Be a good person. Follow Jesus. I actually don't even care if you fail out of school. I don't care. My one son's going in the Marines. He goes, Dad, should I go to college? I go, probably not. Here's Trump on why he's having John Thune go nuclear.
Not confirming your appointments either. Over
Okay, they're not confirming his appointments, is what we're going to do. This is about the fight. Here's the fight. Senate Republicans in a unanimous 53-45 vote invoke the nuclear option, cutting the confirmation threshold from 60 supermajority to 51. They only need one vote over. I'd be surprised. What if Rand Paul and Thomas Massey and all those types go, no, I'm standing on principle. I can't. and stripping Chuck Schumer and the Democrats of their power to block President Trump's nominees. Looks like they finally found their balls. Thune found some balls. Speaking of balls, here's Marsha Blackburn, senator of my state. President real Donald Trump just announced he is sending the National Guard to Memphis, Tennessee, murder capital of the state. Everyone's posts like Tennessee gun death rates. It's all coming from Memphis. So what we needed was a conservative governor to allow the National Guard, give them permission to come into the state, because Trump tried doing Chicago and they said no. So he goes to Marsha Blackburn. Thank you, Mr. President, she says, for restoring law and order in the Democrat-run cities that refuse to crack down on violent crime in favor of soft on crime agendas. Let's make Memphis safe again. They're going to save Black people's lives. And the Democrats are going to be furious about it. Here's a great story on Barron Trump wanted to meet.
What do you explain to Barron? Kai, he's almost peers. He's one of those young people that Charlie Kirk was so impressed
He was
with.
a tremendous fan.
What do you as a dad, and a lot of dads and moms are wondering what to say. What do you say to them?
So Barron's a very good student. And Barron came to me and he said, Dad, I'd like to meet somebody that you know. Who? Charlie Kirk. I said, what? You know, I thought he was going to say, I want to meet like King Charles or something, like we're going to meet soon, right?
He could have met the king, Charles, the King of England. Screw that guy. Jug-eared, inbred, horse-faced. We stole our country from you. No, God's blessings. There's a revival going on in Great Britain, guys. There are people turning to the Lord there, in spite of their wicked, imbecilic king. But Barron Trump could have met the king, but instead he wanted to meet Charlie Kirk.
But he said, really, you weren't? And I set up a lunch with him, and he came back. He said, that guy's great, Dad. That guy's great. You know, it was cute. He's unbelievable. I don't know what it was. Charlie had a magic over the kids, and large numbers of them, and very diverse. Black, white. I mean, everybody, the young women and boys, and I've never seen anything like it. And it was all good. I mean, it was good stuff. It was
all good, guys. There's no hatred coming out of Turning Point, which is why the Democrats are going nuts right now. Is there still a middle ground, though, for we on the right? Is it time to cut the gloves off? Here's Rep. Bob Onder.
Well, what for us? Well, everything has changed. If we didn't know it already, there is no longer any middle ground. Some of the American left are undoubtedly well-meaning people, but their ideology is pure evil. They hate the good, the truth, and the beautiful, and embrace the evil, the false, and the ugly. And they literally will kill those with whom they disagree, just as their predecessor, leftist Marx and Stalin and Lenin and Pol Pot and Fidel Castro did. We must know that.
We're ahead of them, by the way. We're warning them what's going to happen to them. You're murderers. Here's Charlie Kirk. This is his desktop, what he kept on there. It's Micah 6:8. He has told you, O man, what is good and what the Lord would require of you, but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God. Here's Josh Dawes. Too many Christians view cultural engagement as a distraction from the gospel, as if standing against wickedness somehow diminishes your witness. Charlie demolished that false dichotomy. He made the culture war a platform for the gospel. You know, it's preventive maintenance. It's putting oil in the car to get ahead of these Marxists and say, look, you're in a murderous movement that's going to have murder in front of it. Why can't a pastor get up and politically say that from the pulpit? Here's Trump. This is a brilliant quote, guys.
How do you want to see your supporters respond to this? Charlie Kirk was a big advocate of nonviolence and free speech on campus. How do you want your supporters to respond to it?
I think that way. He was an advocate of nonviolence. That's the way I'd like to see people respond.
He was an advocate of nonviolence. If you love Charlie Kirk, And that's what you want too. You want to see what Charlie Kirk's good work did? Here's the future. Here's a black kid. He reads the scripture every day.
Don't scroll. Do you have 1 minute for God? We're in September with Matthew's day 10, and we're going to be going over chapter 10 in Matthew's. But before we get into chapter 10, I want to say sorry to Charlie Kirk's family for their loss, because Charlie was a good man. I used to watch his videos, and he used to just preach the gospel. And
Hey, preaches the gospel, watches the videos. How's your pastor doing at reaching the black community? Reaching hundreds and hundreds of thousands. Guys, the future is in better hands than our generation. That's the good news. There's really good news coming down the pipe, guys. Things are turning. John Thune grew a pair. Hateful liberals are getting fired. Psychotic liberals are getting fired. And hopefully you'll subscribe and get me to 600,000 subs. I'm Doug, In Exile.